Hi everyone, it's Jessica here. Welcome back to another episode of 5-Minute English Practice. Today's episode is gonna feel a little different, a little softer, and honestly, a little closer to my heart. I want to share with you one of the most meaningful Christmas memories from my childhood. Something that has stayed with me for many, many years. And after that, I'll tell you what my plans are for this Christmas and the small hopes I'm carrying with me into the new year. So get comfortable, maybe grab a warm drink, and let's step into this story together. Every December, when the cold wind returns and the streets fill with lights, I always find myself thinking about the same moment from a long time ago, Christmas Eve when I was 12 years old. That winter was especially cold. The kind of cold that makes everything quiet, as if the world is holding its breath. Snow had been falling since morning, covering the neighborhood in a soft, white blanket. The rooftops, the fences, the little pine trees behind our house. Everything looked gentle, almost magical. Back then, my family didn't have much. My mom worked long hours at a bakery, especially during Christmas, when people lined up for cakes and cookies. She left home before the sky turned light. My dad worked night shifts at a factory, so he slept during the day and left for work after sunset. There were days when I barely saw either of them. Even so, Christmas always felt special to me. Not because of presents, we almost never exchanged gifts, but because there was a sense of warmth that appeared only in December. A feeling that made even our small, quiet home feel full. That year, my school held a small Christmas performance. I was part of the children's choir, and even though I wasn't the strongest singer, I loved being part of it. We practiced for weeks, learning the songs, memorizing our places on stage, choosing simple red and white outfits to wear. The only thing I kept thinking about was whether my parents would be able to come. I knew the answer already. Mom couldn't leave the bakery, and Dad needed rest before working through the night. Still, I carried a tiny hope with me, the kind kids have even when they know better. When the concert started, the auditorium was filled with families. Parents with cameras, siblings waving from their seats, teachers smiling proudly. I remember standing on the stage, looking at the crowd and seeing the empty spot where I wished my family would be. For a moment, it felt like a little ache in my chest, but I sang anyway. The lights were warm, the music flowed around us, and I tried to focus on the soft glow of Christmas instead of what was missing. And then, in the middle of the performance, something shifted. At the back of the room, near the doorway, I noticed a familiar shape. It took me a second to understand. My dad was standing there, still in his work clothes, his jacket covered with tiny flakes of snow. His eyes looked tired, but he was watching. He had come even though he must have been exhausted, even though he could have stayed home where it was warm. I remember my heart lifting in a way I had never felt before. It wasn't dramatic. He didn't wave or shout or push his way to the front. He just stood quietly, as if simply being there was his gift to me. And it was. After the performance, he waited for me near the entrance. He didn't bring flowers, didn't have a wrapped present, just a simple chocolate bar he'd bought from a convenience store. It wasn't fancy, but to this day, I can still remember exactly how it tasted. Sweet, comforting, full of love. We walked home together in the snow, our footprints forming a long, slow trail behind us. He told me about his night shifts. I told him about school and choir practice. The world around us felt peaceful. It was just the two of us under the falling snow, sharing a quiet moment that I didn't realize would become one of the most important memories of my life. Later that night, when Mom finally arrived home, the three of us sat together at the small kitchen table eating leftover soup. No Christmas tree, no presents, no big celebration. But it didn't matter. We were there, together, even if only for a little while. That Christmas taught me something I've carried into adulthood. Love isn't always loud or expensive or perfectly planned. Sometimes love is small, quiet, and simple. Sometimes it's a tired father standing in the back of a crowded room just so his daughter won't feel alone. Even now, every Christmas, that memory returns to me like a warm light. Growing up, life became busy, complicated, faster. But that moment, that simple act of someone showing up for me, shaped me more than I realized. It taught me to pay attention to the little things, to appreciate presence more than presents, to understand that sometimes the smallest gestures stay in our hearts the longest. My dad probably doesn't remember that night in detail anymore. But for me, it's one of those memories that never fades. It's soft, it's quiet, it's mine. Now, thinking about Christmas this year, everything feels a bit different, but in a good way. I'm planning to visit my family earlier than usual. Instead of rushing home at the last minute, I want to be there a few days before Christmas so I can actually take part in the little traditions we used to do. My mom loves handmade decorations, so I know we'll spend a whole evening cutting colored paper into stars and snowflakes, hanging warm lights across the windows, laughing whenever the lights get tangled. My dad and I are planning to cook dinner together. Something simple like roasted chicken and mashed potatoes, maybe a small chocolate cake if we don't burn it. I also want to bring small, thoughtful gifts this year. A warm scarf for Mom because she always forgets to buy one for herself. A new flashlight for Dad because his old one barely works. Nothing fancy, just something that shows I think about them. More than anything else, though, I want to be present, to slow down, to feel the warmth of being home. No rushing from one thing to another. No stressing about the future, just enjoying the moment, just Christmas, just family, just warmth. And as for the year ahead, my hopes are simple. I hope I can find a better balance between work and life. I hope I can stay connected to the people who matter to me. I hope I continue to grow, not fast, not perfectly, but steadily. And I hope all of you listening right now find your own warm moments this holiday season, maybe with your family, maybe with your friends, maybe even in a quiet moment by yourself holding a cup of hot chocolate. Whatever it is, I hope it brings you comfort. Thank you for listening to my Christmas story and for spending these few minutes with me. Sharing this memory with you feels like sharing a small part of my heart. I hope today's episode helped you practice English in a calm, natural, peaceful way. This is Jessica, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a beautiful New Year. I'll see you in the next episode of 5 Minute English Practice.